Alright, what did I learn this week? So, I was going over some notes I took from some books on my computer. I just found this document from a few years ago of some books that I read. And it was funny looking over them because it was almost like I was seeing them for the first time. Like I'd literally forgotten most of the stuff that was in these books. And it's quite surprising because at the time I felt like I had sort of learned a lot and sort of applied knowledge from the book, and I'd like taken all these notes, but it sort of showed me that you do need to kind of always be refreshing things that you learn, and it's repetition and like having some sort of like mastery over something there's value in that. So actually going over things that you've learned and not just always moving on to the next thing. And got me thinking about it because I try to read like one new book every week at the moment. And while that's good to always be like learning new things and reading new books, there does need to be that time for like reflection and kind of going over things that you've learned, because otherwise you just forget it and it's kind of pointless. So something I'm trying to do a bit more lately, just actually making time for like reflection, not just on like books I've read or whatever, but just in general, like just having a bit more blank space in the calendar, because it's so easy to just be busy all the time and just always be trying to like fill your day with something. But if you don't have like that thinking time and that reflection, you can end up just like beating your head against a wall, and I think it pays to just have time to think. So yeah, just a good reminder really there, just to have make more time for reflection and sort of go over things. And the other thing I was thinking about this week was I try to take responsibility for everything in my life, basically. So obviously there's things that are outside your control for sure, but it's really just like a mindset of like take responsibility for your own life and don't blame other people for things that you're doing or not doing. And I've sort of noticed a bit like this week I've kind of been slipping into bad habits and kind of blaming situations and other people for things that I'm not doing at the moment, which isn't good. So like for example, I've got like a few projects I'm working on outside of work, but it's so easy to let that kind of stuff like slip, and then you can kind of justify it to yourself by saying like, oh, just work's too busy, or I would do that today, but I've got all this work to do and I have to do that. And the reality is like you don't have to do anything. So even if you have a job, like you don't have to go to that job. There's obviously consequences if you don't go, and that's what you're getting paid for, but you don't have to do anything. So just taking responsibility and not sort of taking the easy way out and sort of shifting the blame onto something else is something I try to do, but I've noticed there's been a few small things that I've kind of haven't done that for recently. So just trying to remind myself to make sure I do just take ownership of my own situation and not try and blame anything else. So yeah, that was about it this week. Just those two things there. So yeah, I hope that helps a bit, and I'll talk to you soon.